Simple Tales presents Nüwa Mends the Sky, a Chinese myth. Have you ever wondered who holds the world together when everything begins to fall apart? Many celebrate those who build great things. Few notice those who repair what has been broken. But the ancient storytellers of China believed that creation is not a single act. It is a promise kept again and again. This is the story of Nüwa Mends the Sky. Long ago, when heaven and earth were newly separated, the goddess Nuwa walked among the hills and rivers. She had shaped the first people from yellow clay, breathing life into them with her own gentle breath. She loved the world, not as a ruler loves a kingdom, but as a parent loves a child. She watched farmers tend their fields. She listened to children laugh beside streams. She smiled when the first fires were lit at dusk. The world was fragile, but it was whole. Then one terrible day, everything changed. The water god Gonggong had quarreled with the fire god Zhurong. Their battle shook the foundations of the world. Mountains cracked open like broken pottery. Rivers burst from their banks. In his rage, Gonggong struck his great head against Mount Buzhou, the pillar that held up the northwestern sky. The pillar snapped with a sound like the end of the world. The heavens tore open. A great rift appeared in the sky, and through it poured chaos itself. Fires rained down from the broken heavens, burning forests and fields. Floods rushed across the plains, swallowing villages whole. Fierce creatures emerged from the broken earth, preying upon the frightened people. The sun no longer followed its proper path. The stars trembled in their places. The earth itself groaned as though ready to split apart. The people Nuwa had made ran for the hills. They clung to one another in caves. They watched their homes vanish beneath water and flame. A mother sheltered her child beneath her body as fire rained from above. An old man carried his neighbor through water up to his chest. The world that Nuwa had shaped with her own hands was coming undone. The other gods looked upon the destruction and despaired. Some fled to distant heavens. Others argued about who was to blame. Nuwa did neither. She stood upon a high cliff and looked at the tear in the sky. She looked at the children crying beneath burning trees. She looked at the mothers clutching their babies against the cold that fell from the broken heavens. And she made a decision. If the sky was broken, she would mend it. She traveled to the 5 corners of the world to gather stones of 5 sacred colors. Azure from the eastern mountains, where the morning mist still clung to the peaks. Vermilion from the southern cliffs, where the sun had baked the earth the longest. Yellow from the central plains, the color of the clay from which she had made the first people. White from the western peaks, where snow never melted. Black from the northern rivers, where the water ran deep and silent. She built a great furnace upon the summit of the highest mountain. For 9 days and 9 nights, she fed the flames. The stones melted into a liquid brighter than any rainbow, swirling with all the colors of the living world. Nuwa carried the molten mixture to the edge of the torn sky. The heat burned her hands. The wind threatened to cast her down into the chaos below. Carefully, she poured the glowing colors into the rift. Where it touched, the crack began to seal. The fires in the heavens slowly faded. The rains of flame ceased. The sky was whole again, though forever changed. The world itself had been tilted by the disaster. Heaven and earth would never be exactly as they had been before. The world would carry the memory of its wound. But Nuwa was not finished. The sky was sealed, but the earth beneath still trembled. The floodwaters had not receded. She went to the shores of the great sea and found a giant tortoise whose age was older than memory. It looked at her with ancient, patient eyes. With a heavy heart, Nuwa took its 4 mighty legs. She placed one in the east, one in the west, one in the south, one in the north. They became the new pillars of heaven, holding the sky firm above the earth. The pillars held firm, yet the people were not safe. A great black dragon still tormented the land. Nuwa confronted it. It breathed smoke and poison. Its tail shattered trees with every stroke. Nuwa fought it not with rage, but with resolve. When the beast fell, the remaining creatures of chaos lost their courage and fled back into the shadows. The creatures fled, but the rivers still raged. Nuwa turned to the waters themselves. She gathered great bundles of reeds from the riverbanks. She burned them to ash and spread the ash across the floodwaters. The rivers returned to their beds. The fields began to dry. Green shoots pushed through the mud. The people emerged from the caves and hills where they had hidden. They looked up. The sky was scarred but beautiful. Nuwa stood among them, her hands stained with clay and ash, her robes torn by wind and fire. She did not ask for temples. She did not ask for songs. She simply watched the children return to the fields, and she understood that the world did not need to be perfect in order to begin again. The old storytellers of China believed Nuwa mended the sky not because she was the strongest, but because she was the one who refused to look away. Creation is not only the making of something new. Sometimes it is the courage to repair what has been broken. The world still bears its scars. The rivers still flow. The stars still drift. But the sky holds. Because someone chose to mend it. Thank you for listening to Simple Tales. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe for more timeless tales from around the world. Until next time, may you find the courage to mend what is broken, and may your hands be gentle with the world.